Firstly, Rachel, welcome to Trailfinders.
Thank you very much.
We're here now in your home city, Glasgow. We're in Glasgow University. How excited are you to get down to London?
Yeah, so excited. I think, I'm obviously from a relatively big city. I've lived in a small town in the Midlands for the last however long, and I'm super excited for a new experience in the big smoke down in London.
So a player such as yourself, I imagine, had quite a few suitors inquiring. What was it that Trailfinders offered that made you decide that was the place for you?
I think for me, the biggest thing in terms of this move was that it had to be right for me as a person, as well as a rugby player. And I think, the people you guys have involved, both in terms of the players and the staff, and for me on a personal level, like friends and stuff like that around, is something that I'm excited to be around. But I think also in terms of the rugby, I really want to go somewhere where I can kind of challenge myself and strive to be the best rugby player that I can be, and I definitely think I've still got a little bit more in the tank. So I think the exciting group of players that you guys have put together is a group that I'm definitely excited to learn from, and hopefully I can add to that environment as well.
So look, if there are some Trailfinders supporters who have somehow managed to miss your performances in recent years, whether for Lightning or Scotland, how would you describe yourself as a player?
Jack of all trades and master of none. Just a bit of a workhorse, I guess, in terms of back row. Generally play in number 6, and defence is kind of what I pride myself on. So low chop tackler, time and tackle type of player. I love the dark arts of the pack in terms of the line out, maul, all those bits that go with it. But yeah, just a bit of everything. Just love to get stuck in, to be perfectly honest with you, and get through as much work as I possibly can in 80 minutes on the pitch.
You mentioned about adding to it there. You're a clear leader both on and off the pitch, and I think many would say the same, that you're quite natural in that role. You're coming into what's an ambitious side, some excellent players, leaders such as Kate Zachary in there. How do you add to that environment? Yeah,
I think I have a lot to add, but I have a lot to learn as well. And I think with leadership, there's no one way to lead, and that's something I'm pretty passionate about. And I think everyone has the ability to influence. And I think for me, it's getting as many people to influence as you can, is where you kind of see those golden moments. And I think for me, trying to instill that in all the players on the pitch, whether it's their first season at Trailfinders, whether it's one of their first seasons of rugby in the PWR, making sure that you get the best out of someone is about making them feel like they belong, making them feel like they have an impact, and making them feel like they can influence the players around them. So I don't think it's so much what I can do, but it's probably about how I can influence others to influence as well. And I think for me, that comes from allowing people to be themselves and kind of celebrating those personalities on the pitch, off the pitch, and those performances as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot I can bring, but there's also a lot I can learn, and I'm really excited about both those opportunities.
I guess on that, have you had a chance to speak with Barney yet, and what has he said in terms of what he expects from you next season?
Yeah, I've spoken to Barney loads over the last however many months, quite a long time that we've been in negotiations and chats and things like that, and I think he wants someone who's passionate about defence and someone who's passionate about set piece, and those are probably my two biggest things that I love about the game. So I'm really excited to come and hopefully kind of bring my knowledge to those aspects of the game and bring my playing style to those aspects of the game, but also I think learn the Trailfinders way and mould to that as well. So yeah, very excited about that opportunity to just come and kind of thrive in those aspects of the game that I'm so passionate about.
Fantastic. And on a personal level, 12 months from now, maybe we're not in such grand surroundings as we are right now, but we're reflecting on the 12 months. What would you have liked to have achieved?
I'd like to have lifted a trophy. I think we've got the people both on the pitch and supporting the players on the pitch that we can definitely go and do that next season if we get things right. So I think lifting a trophy is one of them, but to have had some pretty cool memories off the pitch, the social side of things, and celebrating those successes along the way, and also picking each other up in those tough times as well is a massive part of any journey. It's never going to be plain sailing, but I think ultimately, hopefully, we'll be sitting with a trophy and some pretty special memories.
Fantastic. Yeah. I guess talking of silverware, now being in Scotland, it'd feel wrong not to ask you. There's a bit of business to take care of before you join up with us down in West London. You're in camp now. How are you feeling ahead of the World Cup?
Yeah, I'm super excited. It's my second World Cup. Last one was a little bit disappointing in terms of we came super close to knockout stages but just missed out at the final hurdle. So we've definitely got big ambitions going into this one, and the squad's in a brilliant place. We're a very together group of players, and we've got an exceptionally talented group of players, some good young players coming through. So excited to get stuck in, excited to have that World Cup in England, so just on our doorstep, and hopefully we can get as much support behind our Scottish contingent as possible.
Of course, talking about the squad and that contingent, you'll be joined by quite a significant Scottish representation down in West London next year. Did that influence your decision to join the club at all?
Yeah, 100%. I'd be lying if I said it was purely a rugby decision. I think, I'm someone who really values the relationships that I have with my friends and my family, and I think for me to be the best person I can be, but to also be the best player I can be, to have my friends around me when you're not close to home is super important. So it definitely influenced my decision. I also love playing rugby with those girls as well, so to get to pull on the Trailfinders shirt next year with them and roll out onto the pitch and play with them, super exciting, but also to have their support off the pitch is definitely something that I'm looking forward to as well.
So fair to say you've had a little bit of an insight into life at Trailfinders from the girls so far? Yes,
definitely. I've obviously got friends and acquaintances down at Trailfinders, so I've kind of spent some time down there and experienced some of the nightlife and all the things that go with it, I guess. And it's obviously a brilliant group of girls that you guys have put together, and I'm super excited to be a part of it and experience all that we have to offer in terms of that off-pitch stuff as well as the on-pitch.
And then another Scot in Franchesca McGee will be also joining up with the squad next season. Does seeing quality like Franchesca making the move get you even more excited about joining that group?
It really does, because I think for me, Fran's a brilliant person. She's very funny, she's quite unique, and she's a great person to have as part of your squad. But for me, she's one of the up-and-coming players on the world stage at the minute. So to have someone of that calibre and that much potential coming into an environment like Trailfinders, where she has so many special players to learn from, good coaches to learn from, and to be there and watch her kind of go from strength to strength is something that I'm excited to be a part of and to watch, and hopefully give her the support that she can run in lots of tries next year.
Rachel, I've got a feeling when this comes out it will be a popular one. So lastly, if you could give a message to the supporters watching this, looking ahead to next season, what would you say to them?
I would say stick with us. We are sure to put on some performance on the pitch next year, and it would mean the absolute world to have your support every step of the way, and I can't wait to be a part of the Trailfinders family.
Rachel, thank you so much.
No worries.